Hello, Pallav.
Hello, Shiva.
How good to see you again. And thank you so much for agreeing to have a brew with me on a Saturday morning. Welcome to Coffee and Soul.
Thank you, Shiva, and thanks for having me over.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. And I'm so delighted that we are able to have this conversation. Um, do you have your cup of uh, warm
Yeah,
beverage, whatever it is, warm, cold?
I have a cup of green tea with me.
Green tea, lovely, lovely. So we just raise that. Cheers, and great to see you again. Here's to life. Olav, can I ask you to hold this cup of tea in your hands, between your palms, and can I ask you just to sit back, and if you can just close your eyes. And what is the image that comes to your mind?
Can I open or?
Whatever, however you want.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that I'm going into a very deep and tranquil space in my heart.
Hmm.
Kind of a familiar space. I do visit it often when I meditate. So I
Yes.
think that's the first thing that comes to my mind. It's just
Right.
darkness and
Yeah.
stillness.
Yeah. The stillness, and I do remember from our previous conversations as well that meditation was something that you would do regularly, and that still
Yes,
continues, Pallav.
yes. It's been a decade now,
Yeah.
so that does continue.
Yeah. And so
Mm.
slipping into quiet spaces internally is not difficult for you at all. From
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's almost like a medicine for the soul, and I've
Yes.
been doing it, for the last 10 years or so. That it pulls me rather than me, pushing for it. It's not a to-do task anymore.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
almost like I get, it's like I get attracted to it, and I do it by habit now.
So what is it? As you said that it's not a to-do task anymore. So was it like a conscious effort for some time? How did it all start, Pallav? What pulled you to this
Um,
aspect?
well, I would say that like they say that when the student is ready, the master appears.
Yes.
So I guess it's about we always have some of these fundamental questions about a lot of things, right? But we brush them under the carpet a lot of times, and we are kind of busy being corporate warriors. But at some point in time, those questions become more and more prominent. And so the way I like to describe it is that the poet in us asks the warriors in us the question of what are we doing and why are we doing and what's the worth of it all. And I guess that's what kind of brought me closer to this space, where that coupled with kind of my father's illness at that point of time,
Yeah.
I just got hold of a book, and the book was The Power of Now, and that was by Eckhart Tolle, and I was like really taken in.
Yeah.
And then from there on, I thought that I should, kind of sit quietly, start meditating. I also read a lot of books on Osho,
Mm.
and I liked his kind of style of, imparting this knowledge to people, because what he said was that, I mean, you can have hundreds of methods, but then this is not a to-do task. It's about not doing anything. So you should not have a science behind not doing anything, right? So I think that's where some of those questions and then the circumstances, it brought me closer to it. And then, as I said, since then it's been a medicine for the soul. So I've discovered so many benefits, I never left it.
It's amazing. It's really beautiful the way that you said the poet asks the warrior. So would you and if I take it a little step further, would you define yourself as now a warrior poet?
Well, we all are. I
Yeah.
firmly believe that. I firmly believe that we are kind of conditioned
Yeah.
all our lives to be warriors in our own spaces. We fight for our space in the world, and I'm saying it in a positive manner. So we compete,
Sure.
we do what's required, and I think that's how we are conditioned. But then there is a reflective soul in us also,
Right.
and that's the duality of life, right? So it's true for all of us, I believe,
Yeah.
and therefore all of us have that and this.
Correct.
The only thing is that at some point of time, you've got to resolve the conflict within your mind as to whether you're okay and what's the right balance and things like that.
And I guess everybody finds their own balance. And sometimes for some, it might be a 90-10, and that's okay too.
Absolutely. No judging at all.
Yes,
To each his
exactly.
own, as long as you answer, as long as I guess you ask the questions and answer them for yourself.
Correct.
Fine.
Correct. And this leads me very nicely to the next question. So if I was to ask you to reflect on your life, and it's been, I know that I was little part I had in your journey, but I know that you reflect deeply, Pallav, and that's always been the case. But as you reflect on your life till now, can you tell me something about your defining moments, like your highs, or could be lows, but some things that were your defining moments and shaped who you are?
Well, yeah, I mean, till about 10, 15 years back, all the defining moments of my life has been around achievement and career and, some family related milestones. And then in the last 10 years, it has been more around kind of, softer or more subtler aspects of life. So yes, I had a very, very blessed childhood. I was blessed to have great parents. Whatever little humility that I've got is from my father. My work ethic and the hunger to kind of succeed, the quest for excellence comes from my mother. The zest to live life and just take life as it comes and be in the moment comes from my wife. So it's been
Wow.
it's been quite a blessing in that sense. I've got a great family and my life has been, I just cannot have any complaints. It's been pretty smooth. As I said, most of my milestones were always about academic achievements or corporate, just rising in the corporate ladder and things like that. And I think I would call the last 10 years as the most significant in my life when as I said, the entire quest for a different kind of goal, right, which is happiness, and and the idea to say that how do I balance both at the same time, and therefore I usually do not operate with the principle of working hard till 45 and then retiring. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
So my quest is really to work and be happy, and that actually need not end anytime soon. So that's the journey I'm on. And
Yeah. And from what I'm hearing, work is not a burden for you. It's not that it's am I correct in that understanding? Work is
yeah,
joyous
I
as
mean,
well.
it's like I'll be honest. I mean, it's not that all the aspects of work and all the hours that we put in are all pleasant. We have our ups and downs. We have our choices of what we like to do and what we don't. But the fact is that yes, on an overall basis, I feel that work and other aspects are all kind of submerged, right? So we've got to there are some things we've got to deal with it with a happy face, right? And I really kind of relate to, again, and go back to that book. It's had a profound impact, so I'll keep quoting it. So Eckhart
Please
Tolle,
do. Please do.
I live by that maxim which Eckhart Tolle said in that book, which is that everything is honored but nothing matters. So I just kind of, that's the defining part of the way I approach life. So if it's work, um, while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, even if I have to churn out Excel sheets, or if I'm having a meeting with my team, or whatever part of the work it is, I really try to, as I said, everything is honored. So give it my whole and enjoy whatever I can. And but at the same time, have that reflection at the end of it all, that it's. I mean, we do great and significant work, but
Yes.
at a very, very cosmic level, whatever we do in life is insignificant. So I just want to have that perspective going.
That's fantastic. And that's and is that like your North Star? Is that what guides you?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the 5 or 7 quotes and maxims which
Yeah.
guide my life,
Yeah.
all of them are about this duality of life, and all of them are about our own Lord Krishna's Nishkam Karm, or
Yeah.
the Eckhart Tolle saying. Or I also love one of the other quotes, which is that which says that there are always 2 pieces of paper in my pocket. one that says I'm a speck of dust, and the other which says that the world was created for me. So, it's all pointing towards the same thing, right? Which is
Correct. Correct.
you've got to give it your all, and at the same time, you've got to reflect and say it's fine. It's the Tibetan monks, right, who
Yes.
create those intricate structures for months and for days and days together, and then they just destroy it
It's
and
amazing. Yes.
the material and sort of.
Have you ever seen that being done?
I no, I just saw it on Netflix.
Yeah, I must share this with you, Pallav, because you brought this up. That part of I live in Auroville as well as keep a base in Gurgaon, but I'm an Aurovillian. I live in Auroville as well, and there we actually have what is called the Tibetan Pavilion, and we have the monks. So I've actually seen them work for a week on this, week to 10 days, on creating the mandala, and then they just the most beautiful intricate thing, and then they just completely let it go. So what you're saying has just brought that to my mind so beautifully, so thank you for that. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, 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 yeah. And as you say this, so if I was your metaphor for life, and you pretty much have quoted some of the things that you live by, but if there was like something that's like a synthesis, what do you think it would be, Pallav?
That would be a bit difficult. Um, I'm not great at ad libbing, so I don't know. I can come back to you with that. But to be honest, what really kind of binds me and impacts me are these random quotes and maxims that I read at all the places. I've actually kind of made a note of all of them, and they actually guide my life in a way.
Yeah, yeah,
So as
yeah,
I said, I've got two or three
yeah.
which I just love, and which I feel are so close to the way I would like to conduct my life and what I really would aspire to be. And those are the ones which I just quoted. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Um,
What you just said, that you have two pieces of paper in your pocket. Um, and one of them says that I'm a speck of dust, and the other one says that the world was created for me. Do
yeah.
you ever, is there ever a time where you find yourself too taken up with something and too involved and not perhaps cognizant enough of this? And what do you do to get yourself back into that space of stepping back? What's your go-to?
So Shiva, I go back to the 20 minutes of meditation every day, and
Yeah.
it's like um, you know as you said earlier, I used to think almost on the similar lines that look, let's kind of get immersed in our passions, and at some point of time we will all find the time to reflect, and at that point of time let's see what we've achieved and not, right? And that's how 30 years of the life of my life kind of passed. But if you play any sport,
Yeah.
what you kind of derive from that is that you're kind of frantically making your shots, and whichever sport is it, if it's badminton, then you're kind of hovering around the court, and the best way to play they always say, is that you play a shot and you come back to a base central position, right? In
Mhm.
cricket, when you play a shot, you always come back and check your guard where you're standing before you play the next shot, right? So
Correct.
I think for me, it's been like um, it's kind of, you have to do it at a daily level, because if I lift this cup of coffee for 10 minutes, my hand will start paining, so I need to
Yeah.
keep it down, right? So I feel that meditation provides us a period of recovery which is almost required on a daily level, because if
Mm.
you let the stress build up for even weeks, I mean, it's fine if you don't do it for 2 days, 3 days here and there, that's perfectly fine. As I said, it's not a to do exercise anyway. But I feel that you've got to do this stepping back
Mm.
almost on a daily level, because rest and recovery, we give rest and recovery to our body, we
Yes.
give rest and recovery to our devices.
Yes.
Technically, the mind is never at rest, even when you're sleeping, right?
Mm.
So, conscious rest is what I'm talking about. Conscious
Beautiful.
rest to that mind is that 15, 20 minutes of time spent with yourself, right? And everything works again when it's switched off, including yourself, is what I believe in. So, therefore, I feel that that's the that's the part where automatically some of these things, it's not like you reflect or you're trying to concentrate so hard on what's happened the previous day and I'm stepping back. It's not like that. The beauty of what I kind of discovered on meditation is that obviously it works at a conscious level, but at the subconscious level, the benefits that it has, those are things that you can kind of only experience yourself. And that's where I felt that I'm a big proponent of this, and whoever I talk with, I keep talking about this because my theory is that if I got benefit from it, then whoever
Share it,
I share
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose the benefits are something you saw over time, isn't it? It's like subtler levels of understanding. Is that what would you say that?
No, absolutely. So anyone who kind of my friends, etc., whoever kind of interacts with me, and when they say, okay, so what is it about, and I said, how much time do you think that we will take to get some benefit? And I said, look, there is something called beginner's luck. So if your time has come, then you will get some big windfall, low hanging fruits in the first few days, if we
Right.
use a corporate language. But
Right.
the reality is that my usual answer to that is it could take 10 years or 20 years. Because the point is that you're not really doing it for those
Correct.
benefits. It's just that it happens at a very, very deep level. And I think, Sheba, I would say one is the rest and the recovery. This is tactical, right? It's almost
Right.
like
Right.
if I've got to be a good warrior in whatever space I am in, I need the mental rest. So that's
Right.
tactical. So that's
Right.
one benefit. The second
Right.
is obviously perspective, right? Which is that every day or every week, I need to remind myself as to what race I am in and things like that. That's still tactical. But the subconscious level at which you get the benefits is almost like you move closer to who you actually or who you really are. And then automatically it sounds a bit, as I said, it sounds a bit, esoteric, and I do believe at times that people must be thinking that it's a kind of complete gyan, but it's true that you actually move closer to what you truly are, and you automatically attract things from the universe which are more you,
Yeah.
and automatically shed things which you aren't.
And I just want to, I want to completely resonate with you on that, Pallav, and say that, this is not about being esoteric. It's about being real, and it's your experience, and you live it. You live it, obviously, because this is something that you've been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a heuristic way of kind of my own trial and error, and I'm no expert, as I said, I haven't, but it's personal experience, and that's how I guess those learnings are the most permanent.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you bring the Gita into work? What do you do? I know that you have read a lot of it.
It's,
And
it's all
Nishant.
no, it's all subconscious actually, in the sense that if you as I said, it just comes. Some of these are what you call as icing in the cake,
Yeah.
which happens over a period of time subconsciously.
Right.
So there are small joys which were always there, but you never kind of realized it. I'll just give you a very simple example that at the core, I'm a finance guy, right? So while I've been now working for 20 years plus, and um, at the core, what I loved doing, why I was in the function that I was, because I used to like playing with numbers, making
Correct.
patterns out of numbers, deriving some stories out of numbers, which I felt only I knew, in the sense
Right.
that when
Right.
you are the person who's analyzing the numbers, the first time the numbers tell a story is to you. And then after that, you kind of tell the story of those numbers through
Yeah.
presentations and all. So the joy of just getting those analyses done, and the numbers telling you that story, that was a joy which used to come when I was an individual contributor, right?
Yes.
And what I realized is that as you kind of rise in the corporate ladder, the priorities and the kind of things that you will spend your time on change.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, there are many aspects which are still the same, right? So if you ask me to do this again today, because let's say the team is stressed and I need to do something and they need to do something, the fact is that for me, that joy is still there, right? So it's bringing those aspects into the picture. Also, at times, it's about um, making the best of whatever work you've got,
Sure.
right? So if I want to go to the gym and I
Yes.
don't like going to the gym, then there is still a way in which I can make it enjoyable, right? So it's those kind of aspects. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm consciously doing anything, or am I remembering the Gita and all? Not at all.
Yeah.
But what I try to do is that I've just, and as I said, it's not, I can't take the credit for all this, because really what happens is that you subconsciously just start enjoying a lot of things, right? I'll give you another example. I used to take the MRT, the metro, to go to my office in Gurgaon back in the days of PepsiCo, right? And when I started meditating a couple of years down the line, I started realizing that the walk from my house to the MRT station, I'd never heard the general sound, this general sound that accompany that ride. So there are birds chirping. There is the general, that the background din, which conveys to you that everything is good. People are talking. Somebody is laughing, and so it's like
ambient noises. Yeah.
So that ride used to be kind of a joyous time for me, right? And similarly, when let's say, if I've been given a, a task to complete or a presentation to complete, I know it's going to take 6 hours, and if I reconcile with the fact that I need to take 6 hours, and I just start some music and do my work while listening to some good music, it doesn't really hurt, right? So that's the point.
That's beautiful, Pallav. That's beautiful, because it's really like your mantra for how you live.
And
how you take your work, and how you navigate through it.
Do you find what choice do you have, right? The choice that we have is that we can either have dissonance in our hearts, and then have dissonance, escalate it, say to the organization, what is it in it for me, etc., etc., or you can kind of find some peace. And by the way, people, myself also, and a lot of times I believe that this bent towards contentment is against individual progress. That's not so. I saw so many examples. One of my role models is MS Dhoni. And look at what he's achieved. But if you ask him at any point of time, if you just go through his interviews and what he says, it's always about, I was looking at the process. I was looking at the living in the present. He said this word, living in the present, many, many times. You can see it, right? When the team is holding the trophy, he's playing with his daughter. So, so the point is that, and he's achieved inimitable success, right? So I'm very clear that, bent, again, it's the duality, right? Contentment and success and materiality can go together, if you develop that mindset.
Absolutely. And this is such a powerful message for people who struggle with the duality. And what you are expounding and what you're talking about is making peace with that, Pallav.
That's right. It's like good and bad. If I say the word good person and bad person, or does it create disparity in your mind, or does it create complementarity? And the fact is that and lately it's been happening that whatever I've read, it all is about duality. So a few days back I wrote on LinkedIn which said to be and not to be, right?
I read that one. Yes.
And the fact is that, and someone asked saying that, hey, what does this mean? And I gave the example of MS Dhoni. Even there I said, to be is to be in the thick of things, and not to be is also kind of reflecting and saying that I'm not in it and yet I'm in it, right? Kind of as I said, it's esoteric to
no, I don't know if it is. I think it's very real, Pallav, and I think it's about voicing what is real, and maybe a lot more needs to be done. You've completely embraced the and. It's not either or. You have embraced.
I'm sure that I'm kind of we all are work in process, but absolutely, that's something which kind of whatever I see around or read, and I feel that that's something which kind of is gradually becoming very tough these days, where people want to be either or. So polarization from that point of view means that something is good means something is bad, and therefore I don't think the embracing of the and is happening often. It's almost like this person is either all good or all bad. This view is either all good or all bad. The fact is that there are both aspects in everything, and I feel that the lesser dissonance and the more harmony you can have with both, is the only way to be happy and have a good perspective, I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sorry, there was a bit of a glitch. Somebody, I think, didn't understand that this was not the room. They came in for a bit, but didn't even come in, and they left. So don't worry about that. Okay, all right. So absolutely. And when you, if I was to ask you, Pallav today, and Pallav, say, the time that we were sitting and talking together in Pepsi, and we had some sessions, etc. What would you tell yourself at that time, from where you are now? What is the the gift of hindsight? Always, that's always there. Is there anything else you'd tell Pallav to change, or would you say no, keep walking? You're doing all right. What's the message to the younger you?
Well, I would just kind of say that you know, relax a bit and don't over plan and over project your life. It's good to plan your life, but you can spend all the time planning, and life takes a very different road, right? So they say that you meet your destiny on the road that you take to avoid it. So I was really
That's a
into
really nice one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I was really into planning a lot of stuff. At the age of 35, I should be here. At the age of 36, I should be there. At the age of 40, I should be there. And so I would just tell that person to relax and enjoy the moment and the days and the weeks, and that things will happen.
Yeah. And in order for things to happen, what needs to be done? So if it wasn't the younger Pallav, if it's, say, people who are 15 years younger than you at 35 or even early, what is it that you would tell them? What needs to be done so that they feel that things will happen? Is it trust? What do you think it is?
See, to them, I would definitely not, start with the spiritual talk at all, because I feel, as I said, right, they don't relate to it, and I wouldn't have related to it. So to them, I would say that, then let's talk about the sphere in which you are, and let's talk about how you can be a great warrior. So what are the skills that you need, and what is the mentality that you need? And I've had a career in finance, so I can talk about a few things on what I would tell myself or my team, or things like that, which is all about if you want to be a functional leader. And the difference between a leader and a manager is that the leader always has a vision. So try to develop a long-term vision for what you want to do. Let it be a compelling vision, not just for yourself, but also for whatever work you do. Because I feel that even as individual contributors, we can have vision about the area of work that we have. So I would say focus on that. The other part that I feel very passionately about as a professional is about the quest for excellence, right? Because I feel that how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So it needs to reflect in everything that you do. The quality should kind of come out, and if you're in it, then you should be the best in class, or you should at least strive to be the best. So it's all those things. I would tell my son, some of this. My son would obviously.
How old is your
advice
son now, Pallav? Sorry, I'm coming in here. Wow.
He's 16 now.
16.
So
Oh my God.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he would roll his eyes on a lot of my advice, but I would still keep at it.
Yeah. No, thank you. And I think that would that makes a lot of sense for a lot of people who are probably looking at how to navigate the corporate world. And sometimes at a certain age, it does seem very daunting because there's so much of competition. There is so much of jumping over somebody else to get to the next level, and also there is this huge focus on visibility.
Yeah.
And Pallav, if I remember correctly from some that was one of the things that you were, and I hope you don't mind my saying it, but a little resistant to, was to be able to cater to that visibility. And by not doing that, look at you today. I mean, you are the you didn't succumb to that, I think. And yet you are today the CFO at KC.
Yeah. I'm the CFO for ASEAN, and I look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
FPA. But
So
yeah, I mean, yes, you're right in the sense that it was always, although I do believe at some level that the work that you do, you should be able to showcase that, in my
sure,
view, because the onus is also on you to make sure. Just the only thing that I would be careful about is that you've got to do the work first before you start showcasing it.
absolutely, yeah.
And the other thing I would say also to the younger me, or anyone who's kind of 15, 20 years, is that uh, there, there are obviously, every one of us has got kind of a unique aspect that we bring to our work. Now we can do a lot of things well, but um, what's that brand, or what's that unique aspect that you bring to the table? What do you stand for, right? So if you look at all the major personalities that today are some of our role models, even in the same sphere, you attach something to them differently, because that's what they bring to the table, right? So if you look at a Nadal, or a Roger Federer,
Mm,
or an MS Dhoni, these personalities can be described in one word, right? So somebody is cool, somebody is classic
mm,
or maestro, like somebody is a fighter.
mm.
So what are you, and what do you bring to the table? Is a question that I would always say that we should ask ourselves, because that's our unique quality, and that's what we'll be known for. So apart from all the good work that you're doing, try to also bring that unique of yourselves, of yourself to the work that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So uh, you're talking about the unique thing, and if my question to you now is, what is your unique legacy, Pallav? I believe every individual, much like what you're saying, every individual is like a facet of that multifaceted thing that we call the universe, right? And what is that facet that you represent? What is your unique legacy to humankind? What do you think it would be?
Well, I'm a speck of dust. So I'm not sure whether, any of my contributions will ever be significant. But I would say that, this is the quote by Mahatma Gandhi, which I quoted before, which was that, whatever you do in life is going to be insignificant, but you must do it. It's very important that you do it, because only you can. So from my point of view, that 3, 4, 5 people that I would have had an impact in my either professional life or my personal life, including my family, friends, those aspects would be the legacy I would live, right? So if there is any one person that I would have inspired, or if there are moments of happiness that I would have brought to my family, my friends, then that's my legacy, right? So that's all there is to it, in my view.
And that is beautiful, because it's the canvas we paint, and how deep
Yeah.
we impact even a small part of that is a true representation of life and living, isn't it, Pallav? Um, what value do conversations like this have for you, Pallav?
Immense. You don't know what you've kind of helped me with today, because and that's why I feel that this particular session and the way you structured it is absolutely unique, because I mean, we talk about a lot of sessions talk about the professional part of our lives, but how many times do we get really a platform to talk about the personal side, or let's say the spiritual side, or have free flowing conversations where we talk about life in general. So it's been a kind of a great 40 minutes for me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pallav, for making the time and having a soul brew with me. It's really been delightful, this conversation, because we've gone to ranges where often we don't go, and you have been so open to explore that, because it's so much a part of the fabric of who you are. So I deeply appreciate the fact that you've shared it, and shared it so openly. And I'm sure it will influence and impact all those who need to be, at this point in time, hearing something like this. So the ability to include "and" into their lives. I think you represent that so beautifully. And thank you so much for sharing it with me today in Coffee and Soul.
Thanks for your kind words, Shiva, and thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. All the very best, Pallav.
All right.